Hello Internet, I'm HamsterBomb and you guys are joining me for a special event. Guess what? This is actually today the 15th anniversary of my making videos on YouTube. You wouldn't think so on my channel that I've got pulled up right here, because this is actually my second channel that I have made. I originally started on another channel altogether called Ocarina Hero, which, as you can see, is a little bit branded differently, since you may have last seen it if you are familiar. However, it's these original videos down here, what are called Ocarina Hero game reviews, that I originally started doing 15 years ago. YouTube is saying 14 years because it doesn't want to round up a day as I record this a day early, but that's that. So the original one in question that actually went up 15 years ago to the day is right here, Super Mario Brothers Part 1. It was July 13th, 2008. So I have a fun little 15th anniversary event for you guys. If you also notice, if I just jump over to the Ocarina Hero page again just to showcase this, I am also re-uploading and slightly editing the Playing With Myself review series that I do nowadays on Ocarina Hero. So now this old channel is specifically for my archaic reviews where I was filming the screen with a webcam on a laptop, and all the way up to modern day where I'm making just as stupid but full-on review videos of all sorts of games. And it's kind of like coming full circle, 15 years for Ocarina Hero today, so it's a fun celebration, and I decided I was going to have an event for you guys. Up to this point, you had to be on Patreon and supporting the channel in one way or another. It could be $1 a month, and you would be able to nominate an episode of Playing With Myself for me to review on the channel, which now clearly goes on more than one channel. However, I am, for the first time, and maybe the only time ever, I am about to do an event where even if you cannot do Patreon, say you just don't have access to it for one way or another, or you just can't financially support us, it really means a lot to us if you do. I want to mention this again. I clearly am not one of those YouTubers who goes out of my way and complains like, oh please, we need the money. We actually lose money, just to be completely transparent. We lose money every month making this. Patreon doesn't cover nearly enough to even like just make this stuff. Adobe is extremely expensive, and trying to stay on top of a lot of other things that I need to fund for this are just really expensive, and we just can't do it. So anybody who supports us through Patreon, which there are links all over the main channels themselves, it does help us out tremendously. However, if you can't or haven't been able to up to this point, I have an event just for you where you can nominate your own episode of Playing With Myself without even being on Patreon. It still is going to help us out tremendously, and I think that you're going to have fun doing it. It's just going to be like a fun little challenge. Before I get to that though, I have one other thing to show you. Guys, check it out. HITBOX is finally on Spotify. Now, it's not every episode, however, it's quite a bit of them. As I say this right now, let me see, we have 1 through episode 16. And every single day, assuming I can keep up on this, I do basically everything for this channel, and have for the past 15 years. I am doing all of this on here, making sure that we have audio versions of every single episode done and new thumbnail art for each one of them. And they are scheduled to go up every single day until we get caught up with HITBOX on the YouTube channel. So I would appreciate it a lot if you would find us on Spotify, follow us there, give the episodes a listen. Hopefully they're a lot more accessible now instead of these extremely long form YouTube videos only. So there you go. There is that. That would help us out on the channel a bunch. However, in the links below, and I will link this Spotify link for you guys if you use Spotify on web so you can follow us, there is also a survey, and this is how you are going to nominate your own episode of Playing With Myself. So, for the 15th anniversary event, I decided, you know what, there is still something that you can do to help out the channel, even if you're not using Patreon. Just engaging with the channel and leaving comments and talking, having general engagement with videos, just watching them all the way through, commenting on the videos, leaving likes and stuff, that's how you tell the algorithm, hey, I like this stuff. Other people should see this too. Because if you couldn't tell, YouTube's algorithm has been crushing us lately. It has, in the past, I'm gonna say like 5 years, done us no favors at all. Because it is, and I mentioned this all the way up to this point, it is never about what I make, it is 100% how you take that content and do the thumbs up, leave comments. And one thing that honestly has been kind of disheartening through the Playing With Myself series, even though I love making them, is the lack of engagement with comments with them. And that's where I'm going with the anniversary event. Now, leaving comments on YouTube is kind of a bit of a pain lately. They've tried burying under a ton of extra hoops and things you have to scroll through. However, it is still there. Now, at the end of every single episode of Playing With Myself, when I review something, I will actually ask you guys, what do you think is your positive and critical review of this game or these games? And I wanted to hear people talk about why. Because the whole point of the series, if you couldn't tell, is that reviews are stupid. Review numbers mean nothing. And having one person who is giving you multiple, usually conflicting numbers should be telling to how pointless it all is. But it is a fun exercise to analyze something that you either really like or you really don't and figure out why you really like it or you really don't and try and put it to words. And forcing you to come up with 2 different numbers out of 10 is a really fun way to do this. So I thought, for the sake of the 15th year anniversary event, which you could probably have already read the opening question as I've been blabbering here, I'm gonna go through it. Just leave a positive and critical review comment on 15 different episodes of Playing With Myself and tell us which episode you chose to do below. And yep, they're all in here. We can just pick whichever ones are the 15 that you chose that you wanted to leave your own positive and critical reviews for. And we do have mods working with me on this. If you falsely claim any entries, your episode request will be disregarded, so don't be that person. I'm already going out of my way to try and give you a fun, free event. Please don't try and screw us over more than that. Here is a link right there to the actual playlist of all of the Playing With Myself game episodes. So if you want to scroll through this, just find 15 of them. Even if you've seen them before, it doesn't matter. Just like scroll down to the bottom and just let me know a positive and a critical review score that you would put for these. Whatever, let's just scroll down. There's quite a bit of them you have to choose from. But of those, and once you go through this, even if you haven't seen them all, this will let you know that there are plenty of games that I have not reviewed yet. Even though it's over 100 different episodes of Playing With Myself, not all of them are actually reviewing games. There's a couple oddball ones in there, and they are not on that list, obviously. And one more thing about leaving a positive and critical response. Don't just say like 7 out of 10, 9 out of 10, and hit send. That doesn't count. Come on, you need to have like a reason or a justification. Give us your interpretation. We want to hear from you. That's what this is all about. So in here, you can now tell us, what game would you like to nominate for your own episode of Playing With Myself? This will be your episode. You actually get to choose one. I will honor as many of these as I get in. If there are 1,000 people who input things on here and all leave comments and engagements, I will be making 1,000 requested Playing With Myself episodes. However, I can't just do any game that you say ever. It has to be one that I have actually played. How would you know this? Well, there is also linked right here my video game resume, so you can actually go and check how I've played or how far I've gotten into, what I even think sometimes about certain games of all sorts of eras. And here it is, just to quickly jump over to this thing, I pulled it up. The first page is really just a how to read page if you're curious, just like what are my favorite games were of each console, and there's some information on how to actually read this. I'm just gonna jump to a random page, let's just say the Nintendo DS, okay? So, or like Super Nintendo, yeah, it could be anywhere in here. So on the bottom, you can see the consoles, and you would just alphabetically be able to scroll through any of these and say, ooh, I really want to see Chrono Trigger. He has not reviewed Chrono Trigger. It says hours. I've not spent a lot of time on Chrono Trigger. I actually played Chrono Trigger on the DS, so that's why the time there also doesn't say right, but also I managed to beat it in half an hour. So yeah, that's the information on there. So whatever, I jumped from DS to Super Nintendo. I guess I had Chrono Trigger on the mind, but that's an example. You can go through any of these. If it doesn't say that I have a review score on these, I did not actually get to review the game yet. it, and you can nominate it right here. This is where you would put that in. So in this case, Chrono Trigger would be your choice, and you can choose anything on here except something that actually says backlog. If it says backlog, it means I have access to the game. I'm just not far enough into it or have even put like any time into it at all to actually like, you know, consider it for a review or anything. It's just here so that if I ever start playing it because I have it, then I'll be able to more easily input that information for myself. This is like something, it took a lot of work for me to build this game resume thing that we're looking at here. There's a ton of stuff that you can see. Yeah, I just jumped over to Nintendo Switch. It also has like how long I've played these. An important thing to also check is the campaign percentage. Some of them will say 100%, so if it says 100%, obviously it's something like BioShock Infinite. I've completely beaten this game, I've just not reviewed it on the channel. That'd be a great one to pick as well. Any of them that you see that are like that, perfect pick. If it says something lower than that, like for example, Ender Lilies right here, you guys saw how much I played with you on live stream, and it wasn't so much, so I wouldn't be content really reviewing that, so I would prefer you guys pick something that I have beaten. However, you can put something in here that doesn't say 100%, and I will have the ability to contact you about this, hopefully after this, and we'll be able to work it out if some problems do arise. There's only a couple other questions after here, just like little things to iron out. This one's actually in here erroneously. I'm gonna have to cut that before this posts again, but whatever. These final three you're gonna see on your version of this, and the survey linked is in the description, of course. You're gonna be able to find this. What is your YouTube username? I need to know so we can actually verify whose comments we're checking on these 15 different episodes. What name would you like to be called in the episode? Most people don't want to be called by their YouTube username. Just, you know, your first name. Just what's your name? Or what name would you like to be addressed as in the actual episode of Playing With Myself? In the end of them, I always thank the person who nominated the episode, and this is your episode. So this would be your time to have your name addressed. And in case something does go wrong and we need to contact you, what email is best to reach you? Now, I don't save any of these. This is just if while I'm making a list of the episodes and who nominated what, if you for some reason wrote a game on there, like for example, this has actually happened. Someone actually nominated a game for me to review that I'd already reviewed, and they didn't even know I did it. So in that case, I'll have to be able to contact you because you wouldn't want to be waiting forever for the episode of Super Mario Brothers 2. I don't know. It's something older that I've done, and you might not have even known that I had done it, even though you had access to the playlist. Who knows? I don't know you. I might have to contact you, and that's all that's for. And this all just gets deleted afterward, I promise. Okay, I have no reason to save any of your emails, bro. Believe me, I have no interest in doing that. So that is basically it. Just leave 15 comments on 15 different videos of any of the reviews, and you get to pick your own episode for Playing With Myself. This is really just my thanks for you guys for sticking around this long. If any of you even remember me back in the day, I have been making YouTube videos now longer than a good chunk of my audience has been alive. And yes, I'm an old fart now. I am a father. I have a wonderful, lovely 2-year-old that I love so much who is napping right now, luckily, and not interrupting me as Daddy's trying to make a video for the internet. But hopefully you guys have some fun with this. I hope that this drives up some engagement with the YouTube videos for this, because as I had mentioned, we also have these over on the Ocarina Hero channel. I also have the HD remaster videos over here as well of the original Ocarina Hero videos. I wouldn't really recommend watching those as much as try and watch the cleaned up ones. It's mostly audio that needed to be cleaned up big time. My editing skills were not the best back then, and honestly, it's extremely unfunny and very much characteristic of the time, but there it is. I have them here as well as the new ones. You can even see by the views just on these new episodes on Ocarina Hero, YouTube is trying to bury us so hard. The only way to really break through from this is with your help. And luckily, with a fun reason, a 15-year anniversary of where it all began on Ocarina Hero Super Mario Brothers Part 1. So, hope to see some responses for this soon. I'm excited to see what kind of games you guys have in mind. There's a whole lot of stuff, even just like sequels, same series, and things like that I really want to review soon. If you want some recommendations, maybe I can post some in the comments of this video if you guys are curious. But I'm sure you have ideas of your own and would like to navigate that video game resume, which I may just make an entire video, if not live stream, just going through it because there is so much stuff in there. But either way, that is all the time I have for now. What do you guys think for a new episode of Playing With Myself? Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like the videos and subscribe for more. Happy 15 years, everybody. I will see you all in the next video. Booyah!